Hello guys, welcome back to Googly Sports. And today we will be talking about the how India's tests going on, and especially is India's test empire falling.
Yeah, I think today's topic is that how can India really defend its test fortress, and is India's test empire falling? And let's talk about WTC,
Yeah,
retirement of Rohit and Kohli, and also what is the road ahead for the Indian selectors, right? So that would have been the main thing.
and we know that India, especially from 1990s to 2021, India had a great test run where India was doing great in tests
Hmm.
and they were only losing few series. But last couple of years, especially now, we're seeing where India has some bad home series defeats,
Right.
especially the New Zealand South Africa ones, which we never thought. No one had thought that India could have been defeated that badly, or maybe a decade ago, or even in the history of cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe if you were not born in those times, Toshan, you know that. But from 1990 to 2010, when India used to play at home, we really turned our home conditions into fortress. We only lost probably few handful of test matches to Australia, maybe sometime to Pakistan in Chennai. I remember that loss when Tendulkar could not score the last few runs. But we were actually completely undefeatable. But in the last couple of years, and you have seen that the aura has been cracked.
Yeah. But of course, India's away record, their record outside of the home grounds, has been quite competitive with a very good draw, a very hard fought draw against England, and some overseas wins. But they're still not consistent enough to like dominate the WTC table as we have been seeing.
So, what do you feel? I mean, India used to be untouchable at home. Now we are losing series in our own backyard while still competing overseas. What does that say about the future of the Test cricket?
I think this really says that India might be focusing too much on like the pitches, right? Our home ground pitches. We're not able to play on our own pitches, so that could be a problem where they have to fix.
But why we are not able to play on our own pitches?
I guess it's more of the focus on white ball cricket, where everyone's getting so used to hitting every ball. T20, everyone's just going into IPL and playing T20, and we've forgotten about like Test match how to play it. Like we've forgotten the patience and endurance needed to play Test match, and instead everyone's just trying to just hit the ball every single time, which does not work.
So, I think all of us agree that we had a fortress, but now we have fault lines in our fortress,
Yeah.
right? And fault lines means there are certain cracks, and which we know where the cracks are, as you rightly mentioned, that we have become too much focused on white ball, and somewhere our red ball crisis has come because of that. Now, if we look at the resultant patterns
Yeah.
of the last, couple of years, especially, because we made to the final of WTC two times,
Yeah.
and then we could not made it to the final, and then this time we are lagging behind. So, what do you feel? How we have started in this cycle of WTC?
So this is going to be the pattern from like 2024 to mid 2026, and we had a very strong start with like against Bangladesh, right? But then the 2-0 win at our home ground. But
Yeah,
then after that was a very drastic loss for us, where we got whitewashed in first time ever. We got whitewashed in our own home ground against New Zealand.
absolutely.
Then we got defeated in Australia, which I think was 1-3.
1-3, yeah, 1-3
Yeah,
defeat in Australia. Yeah,
which cost us the Border Gavaskar Trophy
yeah.
and in a place in the WTC final.
You're right, because I remember we were defending Border Gavaskar Trophy two times.
Yeah,
Rishabh Pant won that match. So 1-3 defeat in Australia costed us Border Gavaskar Trophy, and we also lost our place in WTC final.
yeah. And then after that, we did have a decent series against England where we got a 2-2 draw, which was a great thing for India. And then it did show quite a lot of like new resilience, better way of playing cricket. And then after that, we won against West Indies. I don't remember the score line. I think it was like 2
2-0, 2-0. We
2.
won in with West Indies at home. But if we just stay on the 2-2 series draw we did in England,
Yeah.
I think we played well in the away conditions, right?
Yeah, I think we which we will get on what's happening on our home ground and away conditions, why we're performing better. And then after that, we also lost against 0-2 to South Africa at our home ground again. So we can see this trend where away matches we're doing quite well, right? But then in our home ground, of course, we've won against Bangladesh and West Indies, but the big teams, we are not able to perform. We're not able to sneak out one match, which is showing a great fault line in that fortress we had built.
Right, right, absolutely. And I think you are rightly saying this, that somehow India have lost some tests, right?
Yeah. And India have lost quite a lot of tests in a short period. We have had six defeats in eight tests at one point, and then those of include the whitewash against New Zealand. I mean, this is showing that, especially this is home grounds. This is especially in our home ground, which is why this is a big alert thing we have to see that what is going wrong, especially at our home ground. What are we doing wrong?
So I think if I analyze the situation of last mid 2024 to mid 2026, as you were highlighting, we only won 2-0 against Bangladesh. We
Yeah.
won 2-0 against West Indies at home. But we have lost 0-3 to New Zealand. We have lost 0-2 to South Africa. We lost 1-3 to Australia in Australia, which means we are not winning matches against stronger teams.
Yeah.
We're only winning against the weaker teams. And that is directly impacting our chances in WTC standing now, especially in this cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next part. It's not also, but do you feel that the way India is losing is okay? I mean, how do you feel that?
I think like the way they is losing is like they're not actually. It's not only about the losing. It's like the when and where they're losing. Like the
Yeah.
time period of the loss is making it seem like now there's a big problem. Like India's lost before, but people didn't think much of it. Now people are actually starting to think that India's red ball cricket is starting to deplete a little bit too much because of the rise of India in T20 and ODI and test going down. Now it's like, okay, now this is becoming like an inflection point where every now we need to see what's happening in test.
You brought a very good point that this is an inflection point because in last 2 years we lost 6 matches in the 8 matches, only defeating some minnows, I would say, of the Test cricket.
Yeah.
So it's an inflection point. And do you feel that this inflection point is coming due to the end of the era of Rohit and Kohli?
I think the end of the era of Rohit Kohli and of course this Ashwin Pujara and some other people who retired, they were a big impact. Like they were very helpful, but and I also think they do contribute because like we had such strong core batting,
Right, right.
and our spin bowling was also very good. Like we had Pujara, and who was known as the person who would always tip and always tire out the ballers. He was like our wall, just like Rahul Dravid. He was like kind of like that. And Ashwin, who was a great spin bowler for Tests, who took 500 wickets, and of course Kohli and Rohit, who were like the backbone of the Indian team. When they have stepped away, it has shown significant like drop in our Test match capabilities and skill.
Yeah, but what do you feel about the selectors and team management? Did they give any signal to them?
They have been, I think they have been showing some red ball transition, and they're asking more like senior players to play like the domestic cricket, as we saw when Gautam Gambhir put senior players into Ranji Trophy just to get. But I think that is also a little overextension, making the senior players, very big ones, play Ranji Trophy because if they get out, it can also ruin their own image, saying that they're bad and take them off the team, right? So I think they have to take a different approach.
I think that was a signal of panic also, right?
Yeah, that was is very panic where he's just starting to put them in domestic. I mean, we cannot compare them and the domestic players right now. Like putting them in the same league will cause too much chaos.
Now, actually, if you look at, so it means the when you said that Rohit Kohli, Ashwin Pujara, they were all part of that golden generation.
Yeah.
So, can you tell what they really did to us and now where we are?
No, they didn't just like only win matches, right? It was not only about the winning matches. They actually showed and defined how India played cricket. Like when people thought about India in Test cricket, in instant there would be fear. There would be confidence even in the Indian supporters as well. That okay, this Rohit, this Kohli, this Pujara, like. But now, what is India's like identity on red ball? Like, what is going to happen to India's red ball personality without those players? Like how will they develop? What is the next step? Because right now it isn't looking very good.
So the big question now is what is India's red ball identity without these players,
Yeah.
right? And if you look at, we know that for last 2 years now, Gambhir era started,
Yeah.
in Test matches, T20s, ODIs. He has been resetting a lot of things. What do you think about the overall things? He has won some things. Maybe you can define something on the Gambhir's era now.
Now, Gautam Gambhir, we all had our doubts at this beginning. I also had very big doubts, but
Mm.
I have to give it to him. He did amazing, especially in white ball. We won the Asia Cup, we won
Mm.
Champions Trophy and T20 World Cup two times in a row, right? Which is amazing.
No, I think the first T20 World Cup was won with Rahul Dravid.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
after that,
He defended it,
yeah, he
yes.
defended it as which was also quite good by him, right?
Hmm.
But then, as the only problem is the test side, right? The test has moved completely opposite. It's
Yeah, yeah.
test has completely like fallen, not okay, not completely, but it's moving the opposite direction from white ball. And Gambhir himself kind of also acknowledged that test cricket is in a tricky place right now. Like the transition is unavoidable,
Mm.
and like but the World Cup, World Test Championship cycles cannot pause for rebuilding, so they have to do something in these middle stuff, like the breaks. He has to do something in order to change up stuff.
So where is India now in the World Test cycle now? I mean, what are their chances?
India are currently, I think, in the mid table,
Mm.
like just outside top two in the
Mm.
standings,
Yeah.
and they're sitting in like the pack, even behind teams like Bangladesh, right? Which I cannot believe. I'm not saying Bangladesh is a bad team, but seeing India's performances before and the capability, we wouldn't be we couldn't think that India would be behind Bangladesh in Test cricket.
Yeah, at one point it was. Now because India won against Afghanistan, so we have a little bit
Yeah,
come up. But yes, you're right. I mean, the state was really pathetic.
yeah,
So now basically India team shows a kind of a dichotomy
yes,
where we have a white ball dominance,
mm-hmm.
but we have a red ball vulnerability under the same leadership.
Yeah.
How do you think? Do you feel that India cricket has become too white ball focused and structural level from scheduling to play workloads, and is a team test team paying that price?
Yeah, I think this is a great point where you say the dichotomy where white ball is being very dominant and our red ball has become very vulnerable. And especially that players, most of our players, if you see new gen players, we haven't had one new gen test player. Like
Mm.
all our new players are dominating in T20, very
Right.
great in ODI. But then test match is like we haven't developed it in so long after
Right.
Kohli and Rohit and Pujara and Ashwin's retirement.
Hmm.
Like we look at Vaibhav Suryavanshi, great player, but T20 player. Then we look at some other like Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan coming back into the game. They're all like hitters. They don't have that patience. Like let's look at Rahul Dravid,
Mm.
right? The way he played, we don't have players like that anymore. Like the way he bought, like that wall, he named him the wall. He could tip 100 balls. Like we need those players right now in order for a drastic change in our red ball.
In fact, we brought the name of Rahul Dravid. I remember he was commenting on the state of Indian cricket. He was saying that, he's pointed out that how switching formats and the cramped schedules make it very difficult for the modern batters to switch. And we know, we play the cricket 26 video games, and we know that if you play T20 or 5 over and then suddenly move to a test match, our instincts don't change immediately, right? And
Yeah,
that's we are, paying the price. What do you feel about India's top order? Especially in the test matches now.
I think right now India, especially like people like Shubman Gill and other players, because I'm not following as much, they've done pretty decent from what I've heard. But against the top teams, they are kind of struggling with the very high quality seam and swings
Mm.
which the ballers are bringing, both overseas and of course at that pitch,
Right.
where especially at a pitch where we're making very turning pitches and we're not able to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that is one thing, and one more thing is that while they said that India should play, seniors should play on the Ranji pitches, but somehow our Ranji pitches quality and the pitches we use for the international matches is not same. That's what I feel. What is your feeling on that, and how we can probably change that scenario?
I think putting the senior players in Ranji won't really help as much as well. Like, of course, they'll get used to the
Mm.
test style, but it's then better to have a senior A and senior B and play against each other with by making the pitches. And I think India also has to have a big focus on the pitches. I think the problem here is India's pitches, not that the batters don't know how to play test. It's that we are making pitches that we can't play on, and the overseas players are completely ready, right? This is the problem. We have to learn how to play against Spain better. That's one thing I have to see. And then it's also that test preparation is like it's getting sacrificed because white balls become so big, like IPL, and then there's so many other leagues, PSL, BBL, all these big stuff. Of course, Indian players don't play in it, but the white ball cricket, red ball cricket is just like getting sacrificed so people can prepare for white ball even more.
But if you really see what could be the plausible ways to really correct that situation on the ground, I'm sure BCCI and everyone is doing that. But as sports enthusiasts, will like to think by ourselves. What do you feel? What India should do?
I mean, it's a tough question because India can do multiple things, but in my opinion, India should maybe bring someone who's more better in coaching for Test cricket.
Test cricket, yeah.
That I think is going to be a big change. Like when Rahul Dravid and what was his name? The other
Ravi
coach,
Shastri was
Ravi
there earlier.
Shastri. Yeah,
Yeah.
they played a lot of long format games. They knew how to. Gautam Gambhir is more aggressive, right? And even though like players like Kohli are aggressive, I don't think they would be suitable coaches for Test match. I think we need good, impactful players to coach us in Test match. I think India should have two coaches, one coach for Test and one coach for white ball, because it will not only loosen up the pressure on Gautam Gambhir for him to focus on white ball, India will also have a new approach in red ball cricket with a more experienced and better player. Not saying Gautam Gambhir is bad, but I think it's going to be the best option for India right now.
So, which means that this full WTC cycle has some special meaning. What do you feel that special meaning is?
I think this WTC cycle is giving us a big alarm that we have to switch up. We have to change something this second. Like something has to happen because like every selection, every result will be very important here because it's not only about the points, but this like phase will define how India's Test cricket will happen, right? Especially because this is one of the first WTC without our main players. This will show that was India just relying on main players? Was India only relying on Kohli, Rohit, Ashwin, and Pujara to bring them there? Like we have to see. This is going to be a very important phase for India.
Yeah, and I think you rightly said that this is clear a transition phase, and every selection and every result from here is not just about WTC points, but it is about defining the next 10 years of Indian Test cricket, and that is very important.
Yeah,
Now, if you look at the core and emerging players, who will carry this baton for the next, 10 years, what is your view? How do you feel about how things will happen? Who will be the top five players? Who will become the match winners for us?
I think Shubman Gill. He like that's the first person who comes in mind. He is doing amazing right now. Right, Shubman Gill has been handed Test captaincy for this WTC cycle, and it's also showing shifting towards a younger like batting leader, right? Which is also good because we have to start, having younger players because now our senior players are leaving, and then we can also see like there's other good players around us like Sai Sudarshan who plays decent, and then who else players are there who playing?
I think now, they had Jaiswal, they had
Mhm.
Shubman, they had Sai Sudarshan, of course. So I think that was the team, the top three players they were using in. Then they are, of course, Rishabh Pant sits in the middle order, and they are trying to bring in some other players, especially the bowling side, Prasid Krishna. But still, I feel that we need to still have batters who will have more temperament to play long innings, long
Yeah.
sessions, and for pace we can't just say that now Bumrah will go for next 10 years, right?
He won't.
Siraj will also not go for 10
Yeah.
years. So we are in really, really very. I'm scared, to be very frank. I don't feel that we are in a situation where we can become what we became in the era of Kohli and Shastri, a fearful team
Yeah.
because of our pace bowling. He could really dazzle the team. And alongside, we don't have good spinners. So we can't win matches at our home,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because our spin is not also so good and
Yeah.
our batters are weak. We cannot win matches outside the India also because our pace bowling attack, okay, still is we have
Decent.
we still have Siraj and Bumrah, but maybe 1 or 2 years later they will not be. I think it is not only transition; we will be in a serious crisis after 2 years if we don't change.
Yes. And this is correct. Like we will be in a big problem. This will be a big problem after our pace attack will just disappear. Who is there? Like Prince Yadav, bro. Like they're 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 performing in IPL, but IPL doesn't correlate to international. This is one thing that India has to change, where we are bringing IPL players into international thinking that they'll perform the same. It's not the same. Weber Suryavanshi right now, he hasn't done what he's done in IPL. Of course, we have to give him time. He's young,
Right.
but we have to make sure that we don't keep doing the same thing. We keep IPL stuff, and
So I
it's
am posting this question, right, into the chat box for the audience. Can you read out the question?
Can India afford to treat Test cricket as an equal priority along ICC white ball events, given commercial and calendar pressures?
So this is the first question to our audience. Please do comment. What do you feel? Okay, Toshan, what is the next question which you have prepared? I'll be posting into the chat box. Yeah.
Should BCCI and team management ring fence a group of red ball specialists with central contracts, dedicated windows, and mandatory domestic red ball participation? And this is what I was talking about before, where I think we should start bringing red ball players, coaches, like just specialists in that area who can actually lead India to a better position than they are right now.
And what is the third question you're leaving with the audience?
How should India define success in this WTC cycle? And it is only about reaching the final, or is it about establishing a stable new core and an identifiable test style for the next decade?
Yes,
Which is
yes.
also a huge question, which is brought up anyways normally, where what is going to be considered as success for India now? Will it be them getting to top three? Will it be them getting a new team? This question here is a very important question, not only for the audience and people to think about, but the Indian team themselves.
Absolutely, and I think maybe we can leave. We have left some questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
I'm sure people who are watching right now or who will watch later on, uh, they can leave their comments. But I think we can leave the audience with the final comment of this today's descriptive discussions we did. What is your final comment?
I feel like here India for this WTC, because it's not going as well. I think we should not instantly go chase WTC success, because I don't think our team is prepared for like getting to final or top three. I don't think we're strong enough, and I think instead we should do a little reset. We should really focus on our test team, maybe bring in specialists, right? Even though it could cause some pain, maybe India will fall down even more. It still ensures that India can go up stronger if we bring specialists who are better in their area, start looking out for more players in red ball, right? Because I feel like if we start just chasing
So
WTC,
you feel India should not be chasing immediate WTC success?
no, they can't.
They actually they cannot
They
probably.
cannot.
So we should invest in the long term red ball reset, right?
Yeah, we should invest in red ball reset. Like by reset, we mean like we should start investing in new players, new specialists.
See, we cannot change what happened last year, but
Yeah.
I think Gambhir and the whole management did not handle the transition very well. And now they're finding excuses. They're finding excuses now because they know they cannot come into the final at all without Rohit, Kohli, and Ashwin, Pujara, and they're not prepared. So
Yeah.
now they're saying, oh, let's reset. Okay, anyway, we also have to say we have to reset. But personally, I feel that we did not manage it very well.
Which is why it's causing us to reset. Like
Right, right.
we have a team, even if they try to chase WTC success, let's be honest here, we are not capable enough. We don't have enough experience as the other teams. We can't right now. South Africa, who is a WTC champions, we lost to them 0-2.
0-2, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I mean, we cannot be in like we. Of course, we should have a goal, but we can't be. What is the word? We cannot be. We have to be in reality. Let's not be over ambitious. We need to define our test team. We need to make better changes, strengthen our core, and then it will be a time when we can come for WTC success.
And as we are talking today, England New Zealand Test match is going on.
Yeah.
In England is 182 for 5, and they have to score another 280 runs to win that match. And the match is, I think, happening in Oval in England. So let's see what happens. But I feel that my personal feeling is that it will be very hard for India to come back in Test matches because we have really slipped down. But let's leave this question to the audience, and we'll keep tracking the progress of Indian Test
Yeah.
matches, and let's see what happens.
Yep.
Right. So, closing comments, Vashan. Today we had a good discussion.
Yeah, so I think let's summarize it where India should have some drastic changes, especially red ball. They should have a change in players and especially change in mentality. We should
Right.
reset and not be over ambitious because it will be beneficial not only to us but also the whole Indian team. So I think, yeah, what we have discussed should, which showcases what's happening so far. And I think the changes we mentioned, if they took these changes, there could be a change. There could be a big drastic change, especially helpful for India. We can't be 100% sure, but I think this is the next step which India should go to. And guys, please, if you want, you can answer these questions in your free time.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. See you again with the next episode.